Kind of a response video to Matt, not exactly just one of his videos, but the last few. No point in me going over how frustrating it is to listen to him now, but he talks about philosophy as if it is pointless and stupid in some ways. I mean, here he reads more books, he continues to talk as if it means something, but in his sentences he basically says it doesn't mean anything because we can't arrive. And even if we did arrive, it wouldn't matter because we would just have to start over again anyway. And that, he just uses terminology like there's no destination, we're already home. We're looking for the truth, but there's no truth worth knowing. It doesn't have any use, this truth. We're not pursuing anything we don't already have. It just doesn't where is this nonsense? I mean, of course there's a pursuit of truth, a pursuit of understanding, a pursuit of knowledge. I think every individual, I mean, as much as people argue with me about this whole concept, I mean, there's an idea of maximizing your life. There's an idea of getting the most out of it. For some people, getting the most out of it might mean eating the most, consuming the most, having the most, achieving some arbitrary goals that they have established for themselves, wealth or success or, handmaidens or whatever else they're after. And then for other people, they might understand this word I've used before called productivity, and they'd like to maybe maximize their purposefulness in this world. They would like to be of use to people and to the people they care for and of, and that that is a definition or an aspect of having a rich and rewarding life. And other people, like myself, might even go a step further and hope that they would be good or of use to some general or bigger picture thing. They might have grand ambitions, very unrealistic in some respects, not very practical, but there is some realistic hope, I suppose, that you could affect some real change in the world and make a real difference in terms of how people live, what kind of quality of life they live. This is important stuff. There isn't unimportant stuff happening here. There's important stuff happening here. Politics is important. Philosophy is important. All these things are important because they give us the tools and the ability to make the world a better place. I mean, if we can understand ourselves and understand why we are here, we can maximize our existence here. We can build a better future. I mean, that's a profoundly magnificent thing to be able to do. I mean, it's almost an honor or something that we have the power to make people's lives better. And it's, to diminish that into some sort of nothing philosophy where it all doesn't matter, that we're already here, we've already arrived, and that perpetual mediocrity, as I would put it, is somehow an accomplishment. I mean, it's just nonsense. And that, well, as individuals, we can all have great lives if we just perceptually unattach ourselves from the reality, to the crap that does go on, so it doesn't affect our capacity to be peaceful and blissful. I mean, it's just a bullshit philosophy. And I don't know, it just keeps spouting this stuff and people keep commenting on it like it's a rational philosophy, and it's absolute nonsense. I mean, it's revolting to me, the defeatism and the shallowness of this bullshit. I mean, this degradation of knowledge and information as if it has no fucking value. I mean, it's just so irritating to me. I mean, it's everything. It was knowledge, it was wisdom, it was understanding that freed the slaves. It was knowledge, understanding, wisdom that, gave women the right to own property and to vote. We become better human beings when we become informed and we have some capacity to understand who we are and where we are in this fucking universe. And some of those truths might be a little unpleasant, okay? They won't be glorifying humanity, because I'd say some of those truths is that we are just very complex bacteria in a lot of ways. We still have built into us the nature of a bacterium, and that but it's with this intelligence that we can overcome that. We can become magnificent, and I think there is something for us to achieve as individuals and as a kind, beyond just wallowing in some perpetual state of searching and dissatisfaction. I mean, that's what his philosophy comes down to in a way. There's no arriving. Of course there is. Arrival is creating a mechanism whereby we can efficiently actualize our desires and drives without exploiting or taking advantage of anything else to do it. That's arriving. Okay, arriving is achieving a kind of, I don't know whether you want to call it bliss, but a kind of satisfaction to gain achievement and accomplishment, to live the drama of consciousness and of being here, but to do it as efficiently and as productively as possible. I mean, there's great arrival in that. That is a destination. Life is a destination. It is not just a fucking journey. It is not just some fucking, spectator sport where you look out the window and say, oh, how pretty that is, or oops, that's a little bit ugly, and that's it's not all about what you're sensually perceiving, okay? It's not the goddamn journey. It's the goddamn destination. It's creating a better world. I mean, that's the rational ambition. I mean, anybody who doesn't have that ambition, in my opinion, is a bastard. Okay, so it doesn't take any great, brilliant insight to understand what's going on here. We are individual consciousness in a sea of consciousnesses. Okay, I mean, and they all have equal value. They have merit. They have worth, and that's just the human race. That's just the 6 billion humans. Extend that to, the abundant animals that are enduring a consciously sophisticated experience. And there's a great deal at stake here. It's not a meaningless experiment. It's fucking goddamn important, and it really matters what we do. It's not, it's not some kind of equation where, well, if you turn right, it's okay, and if you turn left, it's okay, or you drive straight. So it doesn't matter what road you take. These are very fucking important roads, and just to diminish all this into some sort of mushy philosophical bullshit about arrivals and shit. It's not, it's just nonsense. The destination is for us to perfect ourselves, to become as not only conscious as we can become, and satisfied as we can become, but as productive and accomplish as much as we can. That's the destination. The destination is to actualize our potential to do good. That's the destination. The destination isn't some goddamn fucking experience. Yeah, we can have any experience, like you point out, Matt. I mean, yeah, you can chew some fucking mushrooms and you can have your goddamn experience. But guess what? That experience is going to be over, okay? It's going to last this long, and that's fucking it. It's not a destination. The destination is what we write on our tombstone. The destination is what we accomplish in the end. Ultimately, what's the totality of the value of the existence, the experiences, all of them added up. That's how you measure a life. It's not just about what happens tomorrow. It's about what happens, all the years that you've existed behind you and all the years ahead of you. So, I mean, whatever, your philosophy is I don't know how else to put it. It's just fucking irritating. I don't know how you could read so many books and be so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but I mean, Jesus, why are you overcomplicating this? You know where we've come from. You know what we're part of. You know what we've been built by. This isn't hard to figure out. We are this sentient organism. We have drives, desires, and needs that motivate us. We have a subjective conception of beauty and want and fear. These are all subjective definitions that we have individually. And that the game is to try to create a system where all these individuals with all their subjective needs, drives, and desires can be satisfied in some efficient manner, either by moderating their desire, their excesses, their extraordinary and whatever, flamboyant, if you want to say, tastes, preferences, desires. Either moderate those, either control them through a little bit of psychological training, or make them more reasonable in scope, or else create an environment that is so rich that it can afford to feed 6 billion unique personalities. But that's the game here, and it's a very important game. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to live my life in some fucking ivory intellectual tower where I will decide that it all doesn't matter in the end, which makes your whole ivory tower kind of pointless, and just ignore the reality of the consequences here. Like I said, there's billions of people in this world, and a lot of them are living very degraded existences, and to ignore that, to say it doesn't matter in a sense, it's just fucking stupid. You know, you've got to see meaning in that. You've got to see purpose and meaning in becoming as capable and as intelligent and well, capable is the right word, as capable as we can be to deal with these problems. And that's what philosophy allows us to do. That's what thinking and physics and science and all these disciplines might give us the tools to do something about. But I can't, like I said, I just can't stand where you go with this philosophy. It is just such a bunch of mush.